So earlier today, President Trump, in a series of tweets, stopped denying that he directed Michael Cohen to send secret payments off to Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal for the affairs by calling the hush money payments, quote, a simple private transaction. I'm going to read the tweets here. Democrats can't find a smoking gun tying the Trump campaign to Russia after James Comey's testimony. No smoking gun, no collusion. That's because there was no collusion. So now the Dems go to a simple private transaction, wrongly call it a campaign contribution, which it was not. But even if it was, it's only a civil case like Obama's, but it was done correctly by a lawyer. And if there would not even be a fine, lawyer's ability if he made a mistake, not me. Cohen just trying to get his sentence reduced. Witch hunt. Jesus. Okay. So now earlier, of course, the internet was pretty fixated on the misspellings of the word smoking, which is great. But there's actually some substance in there because basically in that tweet, he's admitted that after months of lying about it, that, well, hey, look, I lied about this. And by the way, that should be a bigger deal. The fact that he did lie to the entire nation about, oh, I didn't know anything about Stormy Daniels. Was Stormy Daniels payments? No, I never talked about that. I never did Stormy Daniels payments. I never directed Michael Cohen. I didn't even know about it. Michael who? Michael Cohen. I don't even know the guy. He was like a coffee boy. But no, he's finally admitting, yes, I basically directed Michael Cohen to pay off these people. But it's not a campaign contribution. What are you talking about? So now we all kind of expect the president to basically just lie, have like everything that comes out of his mouth is basically a lie. So, and again, this is how he operates. He denies it. Then when he's caught, he's like, "Oh, no big deal. What are you talking about? Witch hunt." It's nothing more than a witch hunt. Man, this supposed witch hunt seems to be finding a lot of witches. Weird. So now on the subject of, hey, it's not a big deal. Well, it actually is kind of a big deal. New York Times columnist Jen Rutenberg noted in response to that tweet, in Stormy Daniels, Karen McDougal hush money deals, prosecutors didn't see simple transactions. They saw a brazen effort to deceive the voting public through illegal means meant to hide that deception from campaign disclosure requirements. You know what's funny about all this, right? Is that the whole thing started with their own kind of simple private transactions with Trump's mushroom penis. I know, right? That's what this whole thing is based on. And now he's like, I want to hide the fact that I made that transaction. So I'm going to make some other transactions, this time the monetary kind. Get that out of your head, man. Seriously. Get it out of your head. Brain bleach. Okay. Anyway, Cohen, look, what happened is that Michael Cohen basically admitted to helping to bury a story months before an election. It's not a coincidence, right? That money was used to protect Trump's political campaign. And so, look, Reuters notes that in its reporting that the president's claim under U.S. law, campaign contributions defined as things of value given to a campaign to influence an election must be disclosed, and those payments are limited to $2,700 per person. And look, that is something that Republicans have been trying very much to increase the limit. Basically, if Republicans had it their way, they would have unlimited elections. Or unlimited election spending, I should say. So, under the Republican wet dream, everything Trump did would be completely legal. But today, it is not. And so Cohen's payments, they benefited Trump, and the Trump organization paid him back. And he did so through a shell company, so there you go. Now, according to a Times article by experts Barry Burke, Noah Bookbinder, and Norman Eisen, those payments are damaging because they were fraudulently disguised as legal fees. And according to the sentencing memo, were approved by senior executives at the organization. And nobody at the Trump organization does anything without Donald's approval. So, what is that old statement from Scaramucci? Oh, the fish what? Oh, it rots from the head down. Yeah, that's what happens. So now, based on what we know now, there is a pretty good likelihood that the Trump organization, the Trump campaign, now faces legal problems, faces charges. Not Trump himself, because as he's in office, very unlikely that the DOJ, the Department of Justice, is actually going to pursue charges against Trump himself. But his company is in legal peril, and his campaign is in legal peril. Not good. Now, Trump himself could be named as an unindicted co-conspirator to all this, and guess who was also once named as that? Richard Nixon before he resigned. I'm not saying Trump is going to resign. I think he's got too big of an ego to do that. But then again, if they're depending on the results of the Mueller investigation, and we don't know what's going to happen in regards to that, as a result of that, but if it's serious enough, that could be enough to get the president to resign. If it saves his ass, and more importantly, saves his businesses. And that's what's the most important to him now. And now finally, more experts here. They said, contrary to the president's claim that all of this totally clears him, in the tweet, the trio of legal experts wrote, the danger to Mr. Trump, his business, and the campaign has compounded significantly. What are they saying? Tick-tock, tick-tock. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.